So exciting news for merchants. TikTok is rolling out TikTok Shop, where merchants will be able to sync their products from various platforms, including Shopify, and sell their products directly on TikTok. Are you excited?
Yeah, but it didn't go quite as expected. So off the jump, we saw that this was being pushed. The algorithm was treating these posts with the TikTok Shop in it like they were gold. Same way the other platforms were treating short form content across the board last year. So we wanted to jump on it immediately. We were part of the initial TikTok Shop, but it wasn't anything special. But then they rolled out this new TikTok Shop with a Shopify integration. And we were like, go. 6 weeks later, our product feed isn't fully in sync.
And how many products?
We don't have that many. We have, call it 600 SKUs. Right now we have, I believe, 90 active on the TikTok Shop. Now, some of them are stuff we would never want to sell on TikTok. Stuff we can't advertise. Stuff that, is a tool but might be considered a weapon. Medical products are not allowed. Like, we do a bunch of first aid kits. They're not allowed on TikTok Shop. It's against policy. So it's a bunch of stuff that we weren't even trying to sell on there. We just didn't have a choice. With the Shopify integration, it's going to pull all of them. And they have, in theory, this great thing that as they come into the platform, they're going to stop any prohibited items from making their way past. So we knew that. Sounds great. So they're going to do the work for us and stop everything from even being on the shop that shouldn't be on there. And there wasn't a choice of picking specific products. It was all or nothing. So we did it. Still not complete. And what we're seeing is, every day a product or two comes through, and TikTok's filter is saying it's an approved product, letting it come through, goes live on the shop, and then we're getting a warning and getting in trouble for these products that were approved by TikTok, and then TikTok is going in and saying these are not approved products. So like right now, we're like, I think there's like a 12-point warning system. We're like at the end of it. Of like, we can't get any more warnings, and we haven't even really started selling. We did our first posts, our first TikToks this morning, trying to officially start testing and selling after 6 weeks of just a nightmare. So like little things like whoever designed and built this TikTok Shop this go around, I think it's perfect for the person that's, a mom and pop side hustle selling freeze-dried Skittles, right? They may or may not have a Shopify. Regardless, you're talking about a very limited catalog. You could also create the listing in TikTok and not have to sync anything, right? You're going to fulfill out of TikTok, print the shipping label out, which is not something we can do, right? We need to integrate it into Shopify, because then we need to integrate it into ShipStation, because then we need our warehouse fulfilling. I'm not seeing an order and printing out a label and putting the product in. So it was definitely built for the smaller merchant brand in mind, which is fine, but maybe it shouldn't have been rolled out like larger, and we're not even that large of a brand, right? Medium-sized brand could jump in. So taking a note from like Amazon and eBay with their integrations, TikTok views the purchaser as their own, as a TikTok customer, not a BattleBox customer, right? So initially, off the initial setup, we finally figured it out where the information was flowing into Shopify and in turn ShipStation. We weren't getting their email address. We weren't getting their full name. Even their address was X'd out in parts. Well, you can't fulfill that way. We played around with the settings. We were able to get the name and the address information so we could fulfill at least, but there is no world where you're getting that customer's email address. So marketing to them and providing what's the usual BattleBox experience isn't even possible, because we don't have their a form and a way to communicate with them. So it hasn't been the best experience, right, at all.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, so I guess my first question would be, with the flags for the product that you guys are getting, would that impact your advertising on TikTok? Would it impact your account on TikTok?
Possibly. So the last warning we got said, the email that we received with the warning says that they can limit certain parts of what we're able to do, which could be advertising, ability to participate in campaigns that TikTok is running. It can be quite problematic, and a lot of the things that were the advantageous things we wanted to jump on could be taken off the table. So it's a little scary. We had a great idea of a product we were going to do, and it's super safe, super PG-13. But now we're not even going to do it because we're nervous that, TikTok police, which seems to look the other way and then turn after they've allowed you to come there with it. We don't want to get in trouble.
Do you know if they did the rollout all at the same time for everyone, or did they only do like a beta version of the rollout and selected certain brands?
I mean, there might have been an alpha or a beta, but we weren't privy to it. We had the original TikTok shop, which has been out for a while, but we joined in, 6 weeks ago when it was officially rolled out, announced. Shopify made an announcement too, like it was a big deal. And at that point is when you started seeing the algorithm on TikTok really, really, really treat TikToks with shop products connected to it differently.
It just boggles my mind. 600 products 6 weeks later and still not synced completely.
Yeah, it's just it's a known problem. They're just not, from what I've heard, it's a smaller team that they have working on this, which is surprising given the importance of it. Maybe the beta or the alpha wasn't done long enough, or maybe they didn't grab the right type of merchant for it. Obviously TikTok wants to provide a good experience for both their users and the merchants, but yeah, I think some balls were dropped.
And what did they take? Did they take I think it was 5%?
So I'm looking at an order. The order was 1622, and the only fees I'm seeing, and unless they're just not putting it together, is sales tax. So
but
I see
they credited you on that sale though anyway.
Yeah, so it's a little bit funky to even know, because to that point they're subsidizing this a lot. So the first couple sales we saw, there was a discrepancy where we were like, okay, this was a $30 item plus shipping, and the customer paid $15 plus free shipping. We don't want to sell it for $15 free shipping. But then we looked, and TikTok was subsidizing us for the full amount. We got $36 from it, which was interesting. They're just trying to push the popularity of it, right? So any TikTok user on the low end, if they see a shop item and they haven't made a shop purchase, they can get 30% off their first shop purchase, which is substantial considering they're making that available to all US users who haven't made a purchase on there.
I'm reading here, it says referral fee, a specific percentage of the total order amount. TikTok Shop is currently in the early testing stage in the US, and the commission rate will be further updated in due course, but they don't specify what the fee is.
Maybe they're not even taking commissions now. They're trying to, grow it, make people dependent on it, and then come up with a fee structure, which, the fee structure, I would be shocked if it's as low as 5%, right? They're probably going to go industry averages, eBay's, Amazon's fulfilled by seller, and be in the 15% range.
And it could be like Amazon, because I think Amazon takes different percentages from different categories, I believe.
Right.
So
does eBay.
Yeah. So does eBay. Yeah. So it could be based on that too. But even if it's like a small team, I mean, you're rolling this out. Let's say what did they roll it out a month and a half, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Pre-Black Friday, you would think you would make sure this works right, because at the end of the day, it is going to impact your revenue. And given their reach, especially for that younger generation, and the connections with the brands, it's just a huge missed opportunity for them, but also for brands that could monetize a lot more. The one part too, and I get why Amazon does it, like TikTok does it, is the protection of the email and not being able to own the email. I just never understand, why don't they, like, for example, I know eBay and Amazon have done this. Why don't they like anonymize the email and create some type of a connection where you can at least remarket to those people within TikTok, and at least you can have the control of the audience that way, opposed to, hope for the best.
So it's interesting. So Amazon, there's a new dashboard we saw, Curtis was showing me yesterday, and part of it was an advertising marketing piece towards your audience on there. So I would think that, what you're speaking to is probably in the works, right? There's going to be a way for you to remarket, retarget at a cost to your base.
I bought from my dad, for example, the other day, a solo stove. And I did on Amazon because it was faster shipping. And there was actually an error on their website, by the way. And I gave up and I went to Amazon. And I think they're on Shopify too. Shame on them. Need to fix that. And I gave up and I went to Amazon. And Solo Stove, which I didn't know, has a ton of cool accessories. So if I buy it on Amazon, and let's say I only get the main piece, why would they not allow Solo Stove in this example, or you from a BattlBox, to start upselling the accessories and pay for me to pay Amazon to upsell? It's just like such an easy revenue model that I think all these platforms are missing out on.
No, I think you're spot on. But I mean, I still have hope. Like, I still have hope for TikTok Shop, right? I think it is a great opportunity. We're seeing, yes, the US is definitely behind where everybody predicted they would be when it comes to live and video shopping. You know, we constantly compare to China and how big it is in China, and you know that the US traditionally with stuff like this is 3 years behind China, a year behind Europe. But we're still not seeing the growth that was expected to be only that far behind. And TikTok is obviously subsidizing, putting a lot of money behind this. So I think they're just trying to bridge the curve and create the behavior faster. I think they're onto something with certainty.
Well, so as you were talking, and I started thinking about all of these different shops that we had over the years. So we had Facebook shops, which really failed. Like, I don't know one merchant that can say like Facebook shop changed the face of my business.
And they were throwing money at it.
Yeah.
Throwing money at it. They offered us $25,000 free, advertise up to $25K in this, I think it was a 3-week window, specifically to the Facebook shop, and we'll cover 100% of it, which is wild.
So, but then you had Instagram shop. That really, I think it was better than Facebook shop, but still nothing. I think now these problems with TikTok. But what's interesting is when Facebook launched their marketplace for peer-to-peer selling, that just took off. So I think for the Western audience, or the American and Canadian audience, at least that I can speak to, I don't know if in-app shopping is something that we enjoy. And I think that the thing that gravitates people a lot, I think, towards Amazon and eBay are buyer protections. And I think until TikTok and Facebook and all the other platforms could figure out, one, buyer protections, I think that's a big one. You feel comfortable because something goes wrong, you hit up Amazon and they got your back.
Right.
But the second one is, I think, the shipping piece. There is no, and then that's just when I say the shipping piece, more of the experience piece, what you touched upon, because whoever buys on TikTok, just like you as a brand, is prevented from having a direct relationship with you as a brand. And the my account, the order history, all of that, some of these things that we value get taken away from the end consumer, and then what? And I think that just creates challenges for consumers and for the brands. How do we manage these relationships going forward with one another?
Right.
What I buy, what I reorder, what are the updates that are going to be coming from BattlBox? If you can't communicate that to them, they have to manually come to your website or remember your website to say, hey, is there another cool product that BattlBox might be sending that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, it's definitely a problem, and it's not. All of these platforms are being very protective and trying to own these customers, but they can't deliver the experience, nor are they even thinking about it the same way as the actual brands.